What's up YouTube, Capital G here. Got an excellent match for you guys to check out. Not like the most competitive because these are two decks that are definitely past their prime. We got Shadows down at the bottom. Definitely a unique take on Shadows. I mean, you see the Trick Clown in his opening hand, and that should kind of tell you it's not like a standard version of Shadows. I mean, this is a deck that was kind of shining in like 2015 Duelist Alliance era. Then at the top, you have Destiny Heroes meets Elemental Heroes. Me personally, I felt like the Destiny Heroes, and I could see it from a mile away. The ones that came out in Arc V from Destiny Soldiers, I thought that they were just a flop. Even in the anime, Edo had like one or two decent duels, but I never felt like the Destiny Heroes were going to be any type of threat to be like competitive. And honestly, I felt like Konami just didn't even put that much time and effort in designing them. But you know, they have some decent cards or decent synergy with some of the new Elemental Heroes, and you've got the Violons and whatnot. So, or excuse me, the new Vision Hero Vion, which obviously is a very solid card as well. So let's go ahead and roll this, and there's going to be so much back and forth. I promise you guys are not even going to know like what's coming next and who's ultimately in control and is going to win this duel. So I believe that dolls are up first. And I believe he's going to open with Trick Clown, Spellbook of Rudra. I'm getting Spellbook of Rudra. I don't care. As long as it's not like a $40 card, I'm getting some of those. That card is just too good. He goes for Shikanaga. I believe he got 1,000 Blades in the graveyard, but he's going to get slapped by Regeki, which it does actually. It's not that bad. He loses Field Presence, but he gains it back with Trick Clown and 1,000 Blades, and he gets his fusion back to his hand. Now his opponent summons Drill Guy, and then summons Malicious in attack mode, which you don't see very often, but you know, it's going to get over both his monsters, set the Solemn Strike, but he is going to fire back with that Shut-Off Fusion, summons Winda, because apparently 2015 Yu-Gi-Oh! Is back, and he's going to get Falco set, and I think he's going to Foolish for a Dragon here to try and get rid of that back row, which is Solemn Strike, and I actually thought maybe he was in commanding position, but nope, he's going to run into Honest Neos, and that's going to prompt the 1,000 Blades to come back out and run into Malicious. Now, this was the first play I'm not sure that I loved. He goes and he uses Polymerization, and he goes into Shikanaga, which is like, okay, I guess, but I don't know. I'm one of those people who really values Falco a lot in Shadows because I think it's one of the cards that helps Shadows grind, and Shadows aren't a deck that grind very well, so, you know, giving up Falco is kind of something I wouldn't necessarily done, but you know, since he has Fusion Recycling Plant on the field, he is able to get it back to his hand during the end phase. So Fusion Recycling Plant it's slow, but ultimately like it does kind of pay off. Now his opponent does have that Malicious. He goes for Coil Dragon, Ultimaya. The problem is Ultimaya is going to get shut down by you know, Shikanaga, and then he's going to set that Falco, but that opens the field up for him to use a Hero Lives. You guys know at some point Danklaw is going to make a Titan, but before that he's actually going to go in for a level 8 Synchro, which is Void Ogre Dragon. It's going to run over the Falco, which is not going to be activated because it already activated earlier in the turn. Now, at this point of the duel, I really wasn't sure who was going to win. I was like, I think that I don't know who's going to win this duel. I mean, if you look at the card advantage, I mean, they both have 3 cards. Obviously, Shikanaga v Void Ogre Dragon is pretty much a stalemate. 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense. And even if you look at the life points, guys, it's literally 50 life points separating them. This duel is like completely hinging on who can get to, you know, maybe a field clearing card first, because it's completely open. And obviously, Void Ogre Dragon does have some negation, but that's only when you don't have a hand. So let's go ahead and keep rolling it. Go ahead and make your predictions as to who do you think is going to win. I think I leaned a little more towards Heroes. He throws his Shadow Fusion out there, which I didn't like, and I think he wanted to use that to search. Unfortunately, he's going to summon that Danklaw, which means that Magical Meltdown is going bye-bye, and that gives him Danklaw. Now, he makes a desperate play here. I don't know if I like this. He attacks Darklaw, but the problem is now Shikanaga is in attack mode, and, you know, she can just be ran over by Void Ogre Dragon, and that's not necessarily good. He gets, obviously, you know, his Shadow Fusion back, which is fine. Now, check this play out, right? He gives up his Void Ogre Dragon and his Vion, and he actually goes for Draco Quest, and he's basically going to use that to copy Ultimaya, and he copies Ultimaya's effect and gets Crystal Wing out. Now, the opponent is basically going to fire back, and he summons Grista, and he gets a very big field. The problem is, I'm not really sure this field amounts to honestly that much, and if you're wondering how he summoned Grista, because Grista is on, you almost never see Grista because obviously it is Fire Attribute. He used a copy of Ash Forehead, which he put back into his hand because of Fusion Recycling Plant. So I was like, I mean, it's a nice field. getting 4 monsters, but you still got to deal with Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which literally is like a hard counter to this Shadow. So, let's see exactly what's going to happen. He's going to copy Coral Dragon's effect, then he's going to basically just get rid of the Glow Up Ball, but Ash Forehead is going to negate the copy of Shadow Mist, and Crystal Wing is going to negate, I believe, the Grista so that he doesn't get a Shadow Fusion, but that does open him up to use Shadow Falco's effect, and check this play out. This is genius, right? He flips over to Squamata, doesn't activate the effect, then goes into number 41, and then it basically has its lose 1 turn effect activated. In fact, he tries to put Draco Quest in attack mode. It's like, no, you can't do that. Monsters have to stay in defense mode and they cannot activate their effects. So this is actually completely slowing the duel down, and it's like, you thought that this guy had all the momentum, right? And this monster just on the field, just sitting here, big drunken elephant, just chilling, and it's slowing the duel down completely. So it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe he can find a way back into this duel because he has a couple of turns to stall. Instant Fusion is going to get him a Rage In, and he actually uses that to go into the really big invoked monster, the one that obviously shits on wind monsters, and down goes Crystal Wing, and I believe during the next turn, Draco Quest is going to die as well. Yeah, bye-bye to that. And now it's like this duel has been completely flipped, and, as he gets the Magical Meltdown, which gets Alistar, which probably is going to turn into yet another fusion monster. It's like, bro, how did that even happen? I mean, the duel has been completely flipped on its head, and it's over just like that. So, definitely a duel where I'm going to say for about 80%, nah, probably more than that, probably about 90% of this duel plus, I had no idea who was going to win. And I actually, if you would have asked me, probably would have leaned a little bit towards Heroes, but Shadows end up with the W, and one of the most improbable ways. Number 41 just came out, and it was such a good play because it took Crystal Wing and Draco Quest and just made them both irrelevant for at least 2 turns, and 2 turns in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very long time. So anyways, just hope you guys enjoyed this duel. Definitely, showcasing some decks that you don't see very often. Nobody really plays Shadows anymore. People don't really play Destiny Heroes at all. You have to go back to GX or 5Ds to see anybody playing Destiny Heroes competitively. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already.